Okay, we're up to video number 10 for the training videos for the new system, Southern and Sovereign Pest Control's scheduling and accounting system. And this one has to deal with technician skills, the things that our technicians can do individually, and what type of structures that, as far as termite inspections, that they're able to inspect. Okay, we've put some new functionality in the system that I'm really excited about that will that we know is going to minimize resets from the following. Now it's been communicated to me from people in marketing and dispatch and customer service that all the time we have to reset appointments for when services are set for a technician who can't do a certain type of service. For instance, somebody may accidentally set a WDI for a technician instead of a manager, or maybe we set a termite treatment for someone who's not a treater. Maybe we have somebody who doesn't have the right equipment to do a mosquito service, and we have to reschedule that. We also have issues with crawl spaces where maybe we set a termite inspection for or a tech who can't actually do a small crawl. So we've put some, again, functionality in here that's going to filter the schedule based on what the technicians can do as far as services and structures. And we think it's going to, like I said, really minimize a lot of the resets that we have with our current system. Okay, so what we're going to do with this, I'm going to actually go into the new system and show you where we set up the technician skills and then the actual skills required to perform the service items. And we'll go in and show how the system will match those up so that you can't set an appointment for a technician who can't run a certain service. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the structures. I'm going to go in and show how we set up the structures that the technicians can do for their termite inspections. And then I'm going to go and show how we set that up as far as the service items, because as you guys know, for say a pest control reservice, the structure is irrelevant because we're not entering a crawl space. But for a termite inspection, it is. So the system will know when you set an appointment for a pest control reservice that the structure is relevant, but it will match up the technician structure when you set, say, a termite inspection. Another thing that we have that's pretty interesting is we've set it up now where if a customer does not have an active pest control contract, we can't set a PC reservice for that customer. The system won't let you do it. I don't know if that's been a big problem for us, but it's just one more nice check to have in there to prevent somebody from getting a service they haven't paid for. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just go in and demo some appointments and show how this works. Okay, so here I am. I'm going to enter the system. And the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go in to the actual technician setup under resources and show how we set up what services the technicians can perform. So first one I'm going to click on is Dave Claiborne. So I'm going to click on his actual account in the system, and then I'm going to go here to navigate, and we have this button here for skills. So you can see we have a list of different skills that Dave can perform. Notice we've got ant skill, cicada killer, inspection, mosquito, pantry pests, pest control, and really the pest control is the one that's the most relevant for a pest control service. Stink bug skill, do a tick service, which really is our pet lovers. He can do a WDI and a yard service. And going back here, the inspection is for either a termite inspection or a renewal, or for an initial termite contract or a renewal. Notice here that you don't see termite treatment. We do not have Dave set up where he can do a termite treatment. And we're going to show later in the presentation that you can't set a termite treatment for Dave. Okay, next one I'm going to go to is Michael Jesse. I'm going to open his account. Go to navigate. Let's see what skills Michael has. Okay. Notice Michael has basically the same skills as Dave. Michael, I can't remember if Dave was set up for mosquito or not, but Michael can do the mosquito, can do the inspection, he can do the pest control, he can do the stink bug, and Michael can do a termite treatment. But notice one thing, what is not here for Michael is WDI. Michael is not set up to do a WDI. Next, what I'm going to do is Garrett. Go and see. Let's see what Garrett is set up for. So I'm going to click on his account. Go to Navigate, Skills. Notice Garrett has everything, but he does not have, Garrett cannot do a termite treatment or a WDI. So again, later in the presentation, we set some appointments. We're going to show how when you set a WDI or a termite treatment, that Garrett will not appear on the schedule. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to Dave's account, open that up again, go to Navigate. Now we have this button here for Structure. Click on Structure, and here are the structures that we have that Dave can inspect. We've got that he can do a basement, a condition crawl space, and a slab. Notice he can't do a regular crawl space or a small crawl. And these, again, are only for termite appointments that require a termite inspection. Michael Jesse, pulling up his structures, he can do everything. So if it's a termite inspection, he can do it for any type of structure. For Garrett, opening his account, going to Navigate, Structure. Garrett can do crawls, but he can't do condition crawls or small crawls. Again, these are for termite inspections only. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to our master service item list, the service item template, and I'm going to show how the skills are set up there. So this is the list that we see when we go to set an appointment, which everybody should be familiar with by now if you're this far along in the video series. And for instance, I'm going to pull up renewal, service plan renewal. Okay, notice here it says resource skills. And you see this one requires the skill of inspection. And if you remember looking at the technicians, you would see that they had this skill assigned to them. So this means if we set a renewal for Dave or Michael or Garrett, that they would be able to run this service, that the system will show them on the schedule. Let's look at, as a matter of fact, let's go back to renewal. What the system also does, it actually shows which technicians can do this skill. So if you click on here, it says skilled resources. You click here. Any of these technicians that have a checkbox here can actually perform this service. So it's a good way to check to know who can run what. Next one, let's pull up WDI. So let's look at the skill that's needed. See here, WDI is needed to run the WDI. Remember that Dave was the only one of the three that we just looked at that could do a WDI. If you look here, go to skilled resources, who can actually do WDIs. Notice we've got Alan, Jared, Dave, 2 test technicians, and Brian and Luis. See these other technicians on the list, such as Eddie. Let me maximize this. Like Eddie, James, Ray, Jonathan. You can't set a WDI appointment for these technicians. Let's look at one of the termite treatments. I'm going to pull up the service item for no charge termite treatment. Go to navigate. Again, let's look at the skill that's required. It says termite treatment. Then let's look at skilled resources, see who could actually run it or do treatments. And you see here are the treaters that we have set up in the system. We've got Ray, Jared, James, Michael, LaWayne, a test technician, Roy, and then Paul. Take, for instance, Alan. You would not be able to set a termite treatment for Alan. Let's look at the mosquito service. And navigate. Look at the skill that's required. We have a skill called mosquito, which we saw when we were looking at the technician setup. Now you look at the actual skilled resources who can do. Most of these techs are set up to do mosquito service. Garrett is not set up and Brian is not set up. So when you schedule a mosquito service, you won't see these technicians on the schedule. And I'm going to demonstrate that in a few minutes. Also now let's go back to the renewal service item. Notice this button here for structure filter, on or off. This means that the system will match the structure of the customer account to the structure filter that the technician can run when determining whether or not the technician can run this appointment. Since it's a renewal, it requires a termite inspection, this box is checked. If we pull up a pest control reservice, notice this box is not checked because you don't need to access the crawl space, or the structure is irrelevant for a pest control service. This other box here that's checked for a pest control reservice is active plan type required. What this means is that for us to run a pest control reservice for a customer, they must actually have an active a plan type marked as pest control active. And we'll demonstrate that when we set some appointments. So that's how the setup works for the filters. We'll look real quick here at the termite service plan. Again, notice structure filters on because we would need to access the crawl space for an inspection. And then if you click here on the skills that's needed, you see we've got the inspection skill. And then if you look to see who can actually run these, oops, I hit the wrong thing. These are all, just everybody is set up to be able to do, the inspection. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and actually pull up some customer accounts and demonstrate how this functionality works. So I'm going to go here to customers. I'm going to open up a customer card, and then I'm going to search by customer number. So I'm going to pull up the account number. I go to go to, and let's put in MD0 5001. Okay. Actually, let me do that. Actually, I got another one that'd be better to go to. Let's go to MD0 5015. Okay. All right, notice that this one has a structure code of crawl space, service zone code of MC4, because the technicians that I showed you, Dave, Michael, and Garrett, I put them in MC4 so we can demonstrate this functionality. Okay, notice they have an annual contract here for a combination. Actually, they got a 2-year contract and it's pending. So we'll set this up like we're doing a renewal. So let's see, I'm going to create a service order. Actually, let me delete this service order. I'm going to make a change to this account because I've made a mistake. This one, I'm going to make this a slab. That's what I want to show first. Okay, so we've made it a slab. Let's create a new service order. Okay, that looks better. Now I'm going to go to Service Item Template, and I'm just going to select the renewal. Okay, remember when it's a renewal appointment, we know we've got to attach the renewal contract to the service item, which I'm doing. Okay. Now let's go and see who's available. Notice you see Dave, Michael, and Garrett here. And the reason you see all of these is because it's a renewal, and all three of these guys can do a renewal when the structure code is a slab. So I'll go ahead and let's set this for one of these. We'll do it for Dave today at 11 a.m. Okay, set for Dave again. Remember, slab, and it's a renewal. All three of those technicians could do it. All right, now I'm going to go pull up another account that has actual crawl space for their structure code. Okay, again, this one is MC4. This one has a 1-year termite pest control. This renewal has already been done, but I'm going to do it where set up a renewal just for practice, where so we can show the crawl space filter. So I'm going to create a service order. And we'll select renewal again. Okay, and if I go to line, resource allocations, notice here now Dave no longer appears on this schedule. And the reason is because Dave is not set up to do the structure code of crawl space. We have Michael and Garrett set up to do a crawl space, but not Dave. Oops, hit the wrong button. Again, so Dave will not appear on the schedule. Let's also say I'm going to remove this renewal. And let's say we were scheduling a no-charge termite treatment. Selecting no-charge termite treatment. Let's just say it's 3 hours like it's set up here. I go into line, service item template, or no, excuse me, resource allocations. Notice only Michael now appears on the schedule because Michael of the technicians that are in this area is the only one that is a termite treater. Now let's remove this line item and let's set a mosquito service. And remember, Garrett was not set up to do the mosquito service. So I go to service item template, mosquito service, I select that. Go to resource allocations. Now you notice that Garrett does not appear on the schedule because he is not set up to do the mosquito service. Okay, going back to, I'm going to pull up another customer account so we can do some other demonstrate some other things. Okay, so now I'm pulling up MD05030. Okay, notice this one has a slab, MC4, and they have an actual, a 1-year termite only contract that needs to be renewed. So I'm going to create a service order for that. So when I do the renewal, I'm going to go ahead and attach the renewal. No, it's not. Oh, I do. There's a glitch there. You can just ignore that for this. But let's say you're going in, you hit resource allocations. Again, everybody shows up here because it's a slab. All these guys can do a slab. And also, they're all set up to do the inspection. Now, let's say you went in and added a pest control reservice. Here. You hit OK. You get this message: the customer does not have a pest control service plan. Going down the renewal info, it's a termite only, so you couldn't schedule a reservice. Let's say we were going to schedule a WDI for this customer. So I'm adding a WDI. Hit OK. So let's say you're scheduling that with the renewal. Maybe it's a WDI. They're refinancing their house. Now when you go to resource allocations, only Dave appears because Dave is the only technician set up to do a WDI. So we're going to remove the WDI. Let's say we're going to add the mosquito service. And we were doing that with the renewal. Resource allocations. Now you see Dave and Michael. You don't see Garrett because Garrett is not set up to do the WDI. Okay, I'm going to pull up another account here to demo a condition crawl space. 05037. Okay, I thought this was condition crawl space. I'm gonna go ahead and change this condition crawl, and I'm gonna create a new service order. So let's say here we were gonna set some type of inspection. Say we're gonna do a renewal. I'm not sure if it's gonna allow me to attach it because we've been set up some other test service orders with this account. It's similar to the last one. Okay, we can attach this one, so I go ahead and do that. Now we go to resource allocations. Okay, notice Dave and Michael show up here. Garrett does not because Dave and Michael are set up to do an inspection on a condition crawl space. So you can see, I think, from all these examples, how the system goes in and will filter, what the technicians can do as far as structure and their skill codes. One other thing I'd like to demo or show here, if you look at the plan types, and I'm going into where we edit the plan types, this is where we match the pest control contracts with the service items that we looked at before. If there's a checkbox here, then we can do a pest control reservice with these plan types. Notice for the termite only, there's no checkbox. Just about everything else there is for pest control, pet lovers, where you can do a reservice. So again, the whole point of this demo was to show, how the filters work, hopefully to minimize, resetting appointments, because appointments are set for techs who don't have the skills or can't do the crawl space that are required for the appointment. And that ends this video.